The skeleton mob farm is a staple of a Minecraft base, or at least it should be. If built correctly, you have an endless supply of XP and bows. But few players build these to the full potential. Add an AFK fish farm to this, and you will get an excellent supply of enchanted materials, books, and bows, as well as many other precious resources. Add these into a filter system for ease of access, and you will take your game to the next level. But that is not good enough. If you upgrade your fish farm, skelly farm with an enchanting room, you will truly be playing on a high level and take this game to the next level. But before we can have any of this, we have to build it first. Welcome to the party, pal. My name is Commander Tom, and today we are building the ultimate AFK Skeleton Farm. We are doing a massive upgrade on this rather cramped area. So if tips and tricks like this are something that you are interested in, leave a like and subscribe. I drop videos like this every week. As you can tell from this brief look around, you can see that I have the essentials, bare minimums here. But I'm cramped for space. So, what we're going to do, if you take a look around, you'll see I've got a red circle circling this half territory. I'm going to go ahead and mine out the entire 16 block territory around the spawner to open up the area to give us room to work. But like usual, I'll do the mine, you skip the time, and I'll be back in a second.
As you can tell, we're still by the skelly spawner. You can still tell that it is functional, but most of the action is now opened up here. I have cleared out the entire spawn circle of the spawner. That's what the red line is. That doubles the workspace that we have around it, so I think we're going to be able to make this a lot less cramped. Next, I've also gone ahead and kind of planned, I know that's a rarity in Minecraft, but planned out where the storage room for all the drops from everything, because this is also going to have, of course, an AFK fish farm next to it, and we're certainly not going to give up our wood farm either. In fact, I intend to expand it. So I wanted to have designated homes for all the supplies off of that. Now that I actually have a plan on locations, I think the next project is going to be to tear down a fair bit of what we've got, because we're all stuck right over here. I'm going to pretty quick turn off the spawner, which means I gotta hop inside of it and torch the territory, and then we'll start reworking the plumbing a little bit to get this set up for the new format. I'll do the grind, you skip the time. Alright, this next part should prove to be some hilarity, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got the record button going on. Let's see if I can light up my spawner again.
Now I am purposely going to start in center shaft because I know that there's a drop down pillar that if I can put a few torches on, they'll do a lot of good for me. I'm just hoping I don't get picked off by some sniper skelly.
Good. Managed to actually catch it that time. Yep, knew that was going to happen. Let's make the best of it. Oh, come on, no. Just go up the water, come on. Okay. I think we're getting relatively okay, so let's take the water out of the equation, because we are going to flip things around. And this was a patch I did because I couldn't quite get the water flow right last time. Let's try to fix it though. Okay, far less painful than I thought, even if I did get an arrow in my back. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this spawner 101 for those of you who are trying to build this at home. Slip on inside. I've already lit this up so that it's no longer even active, and I'll finish up clearing or finish up filling the old slit, because we're going to turn this 90 degrees because I want to. It'll give me a good opportunity to give you a how-to, okay? To give you clear dimensions of what we are doing here, we are looking at the spawner plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course 2, 3, 4. So the walls are the 5th block away from the spawner in both directions, and then you also want 2 blocks above and then 4 blocks below for demonstration. 3, 4. Now the first 2 are spawn area, but what we want to do is ensure that we're getting the skeletons out of the spawn area as soon as possible. So that's why you drop it 2 additional ones, so they can spawn here while they flow underneath. Go ahead and get this cleared out, but I put that up there for your reference. Now to keep the cap down, generally you leave the 2 blocks on top of the spawner actually filled. That way you don't have a mob spawning up there, getting stuck, and taking up a precious entity placement on there. Once you've gotten this cleared out, we then need to decide which way is going to be our exit. One of the changes I want to make is I want the exit to be this way, my mobs to run upward, over, and down, because I want to start having the grinder on this side of the wall. Take a look. Yeah, I want the grinder over there. So, to that effect then, on the corners that you want it going away from, we set up just a little platform as such to help with water flow direction. And wow, that was quick. Make sure I don't have my silk on. Now, if it's at all possible, you're going to want some level of depth strider when you're working with this stuff for your reference. Okay. And then we take out that 3 area, and then also to help with water flow. That way everything naturally wants to start flowing in through here. And we carve ourselves 2 inward. Then what we're going to want to do, good, I did bring my sand with me, and I've got my signage, excellent. We're going to want to place a sign right here. Don't have to write anything on it, but you're going to want that sign there because this is going to be a water column, and we want to make sure that the mobs can actually get caught in the water column. And yeah, okay. Then what I do, 1 down. Okay. I knew that was going to be short, but that is okay. I'm going to temporarily block that water off. Okay. And then just because mobs in a grinder always make me smile, I'm going to go ahead and use glass for the mob tube here. Okay, so when we're figuring out how high we're going to go with these things, and I'm feeling a little bit unlit here, so we're going to drop this. Wherever your kill floor is going to be, get a Y coordinate. So in this case, I'm at 26. And then for their standard mobs, aside from Endermans and exceptions like that, you'd be looking then at 22 blocks high. So I'm at 26 right now. So I want the shaft to start dropping people at about 48. And probably the simplest way to do that is 27. Going to put 22 pieces of ice down so I know when I've gone through my stack of ice on the way up that it will be at the proper height. And we'll talk about step 2 later. So give me a second. And my glass tube. I'll worry about you later. Thought I missed one. There we are. Okay, I want a reference point. Okay, I'm going to want to make a tunnel facing west. Okay, and that's fine. Good to make a reference point while you still have some light. It takes me to 48, so that should be looking pretty decent initially. And I do say initially for a reason here. We need to have mobs rise up from this point. Kill floor is going to be on the other side. So we know that the farm is center block plus 5. So I'm going to go up an additional 2 spaces and even one more block to start the water flow. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's already doing that. So before we start going too crazy, with my normal moneymaker pick, I want to take all the way down. And remember that soul sand I put down at the beginning? Well, once I know I've gotten everything cut, that should. See? Just like that. Real easy way to make water vaders. Okay. One. I like the bubbles. You'll have to forgive me. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 2. Take advantage of single player for a second. Actually, no. We can do this. Alright, so we know that it is. Alright, so that's each 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think this is probably going to be where we want to drop her. Okay, we are coming out direct on the other end. Okay, I would prefer to have my drop shaft right here. So we need to swim back up. Okay. If that's the biggest mistake I make during building, I'm not going to feel bad at all. I have an iron farm, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass up on that iron farm right now. Okay, good. That is more what I wanted. Drop shaft right there. That'll give me room to build stuff. Now we need to go up. Again, this is a job you're probably going to want to have like a depth strider set up for. Take one of your signs. I want to get some health back. Okay, you're going to want to drop the sign and be quick about it. Because as that water comes down, that's what's going to cush your landing, but it's not going to be there forever. Okay. So we have the drop shaft done now. Temporary lighting. Alright. Before I make up more polished stuff, okay, I want a reference point on where my kill floor is. So, one away from here. You're going to want to have a reference point when you start working underneath. Okay. So once you've got your kill spot marked out, then we are going to... The first two layers are just going to be temporary. So I always just put them in stone. First three layers actually are going to be temporary. No. Yeah. Whatever your preference. And then, because mobs falling to their death is always entertaining, I'm going to go ahead and go with glass tubes. That's temporary block just for me to be able to work on. Do I have any gravel? That would be convenient. Sweet. Okay. Okay. I believe that's my kill shaft. Okay. Okay. We're actually looking pretty good so far. Now, something I'm going to recommend while you're on a temporary basis is keep your inventory clean. And since I've got a designated storage bin for this stuff here, is make sure there's at least a half slab on the bottom here until you've got it to the point where you've got your auto kill set up. That way, if you do have some mob spawn for just in case, they're stuck. I mean, the skelly might shoot at you, but often he won't because his visibility will be blocked. But if you have this set up, then you're in a better situation as is. And actually, I'm going to take advantage of the fact I've got it. I know not everyone appreciates the look of it. I respect their opinion, but I honestly do like glowstone. Of course, I honestly also like diorite too. I think polished diorite just reminds me of bone color, so I often surround my skelly spawner with diorite. It's one piece of glass, I'm not going to worry about it. And for the fact I could use a little light back here, we're going to go ahead and drop one glowstone lamp right there, just to light things up. We'll get that in decoration later. Okay, we're looking pretty good so far. Double check the water flow. Okay, I'm going to do one quick thing. Where's my bucket of water? I'll use ice if I need to. There it is. Okay. Let's test the system just a little bit. Okay, we'll use that in a second. Alright. Take my boots off. Let's go for a ride. What does this water flow do to me? Okay, my hands are off the controls aside from where I'm going to watch. Okay. Oh, yep. I should have noticed that. Okay. Do I have a piece of ice? Okay. Okay, so take advantage of the ice. Momentum just kind of pushes us in there. Plus, one thing that always happens is the next skelly behind us will bump us further in. That will then take us shooting upwards. And then at this point, we're all on the same conveyor belt train. Don't need the ice up here as long as you've got the water flow. And I usually keep it to 5 spaces at a time for the new water mechanics. And there we are. Alright. So get my kill marker here. And then next step, and don't forget to reblock that off. So I'm not going to torch it, I'm not going to make this dark again just yet, because I want to show you a simple way to do that. Little tip, look at where I've placed my torches, corners, and the center place. That'll come in handy in a minute. But I think we are done with the interior, so I think I'll go ahead and block that back up. Where are the appropriate blocks? Okay. Okay, I think we're done working that. Okay. Alright, so next thing to do is the drop is done. Technically this is done. Technically I could let this start working right now. However, I have no system to actually collect anything yet. So that's the next job. Actually, I think what I'll do is the easy job, and I'll go ahead and get my dogs moved over. Let me get some of this built up, and I'll show you the simple ways to do that. Alright, starting out tip, guys. Remember that the polished granite here is our kill spot, and around it we are going to want to have 4 rails. Keep in mind the positioning of the rails. You have the rails with the actual rail part going along the edge of the granite. They are not, if you were actually running on the rails, you would not be heading towards the granite, you would be circling the granite. That's very important. And then in one corner I'm going to go ahead and put a fence post. It's going to stay there, but I'm just going to build one for now. It'll be fine. Come on. Come on, little doggy. There we are. There we are. Perfect. Going for a ride. There we are. Okay. Here, I'll even do my little lantern toppers. Okay. That is the flush system. That is the drop system. That is the kill system. That is what makes this Skelly system AFKable. Is the dogs do the killing for you, and then that way you can take care of the rest. But what we are missing right now is item collection. I need to clear a hole, do some mining. Let me get that cleared out for a working area, and I'll be right back. Remember how we put that red piece of granite in for our marker? This is why. We know where that is. Remember how our back wall for our spawning room is the polished diorite? There it is. So marking your builds with specific stones are a good way to be able to tell what's going on here. What we're going to do is set a pretty standard hopper line right there. And then we're going to take some more of our rails. And we're going to need switches for them, of course, too. And we're going to set up 3 lines like this. Okay, then we're going to take 3 hopper mine carts. Get those set. I recommend them against a wall for ease of starting. And then we're going to need to move our access hole just over a little bit. That's fine. This is all extremely temporary. And then before you hit the power, do yourself a favor. Make sure you've got the block above here. And then okay, that's then going to start those 3 running and collecting, which will then drop it into the hopper line here. Now let's dig out a little bit more room, because we're going to need to put our first circuit in here pretty quick for the hopper line. This is what I mean by sometimes the alternative bricks. Okay, we're working pretty close to our build, but that's not bad. Okay, let me get a little bit more space dug out.
Okay, first circuit is the Mumbo Jumbo non-stackable item filter, which we use to filter out lousy bows and lousy armor from the skellies. What that does is run the circuit through, detects it, drops that down, the bones and arrows continue on. While the bad stuff, like I said, the armor and bows go down to a dropper. Now we are going to borrow the signal with 2 repeaters. We're going to use the same circuit then to bring that signal to the dropper to trigger that to actually jettison. Take a look here for a little practice drill. Drop in some non-stackable with some stackable, and we'll see how it all flows through. Okay, non-stackable. Okay. And you can see spit that out. Lava will be there. Now it's normal for a few items to get caught into the system, but I've never cared about that because the next non-stackable item just shoots it out. So that is working well. And then, yep, good. The cobblestone went all the way through, which means the bones and arrow will too. So that's going to work smooth for us. Let me go get the super happy fun sauce. Drop that in. Excellent. So that system is working nice and compactly. Alright, so the good stuff, or the bad stuff will go down, the good stuff will go over. And now I need to do a little bit of mine to get that going on. Again, you skip the time. Okay, so take a look at what we've got designated for the sort of where we wanted to go with these sort of item flow systems. It's good to have an idea of the end in mind so you can wire appropriately. Slip back here because we have things like enchanted books, saddles, and other items that we honestly want to keep, even really good bows. We're dropping in a second non-stackable item filter. That flows into a double chest storage system that I will be putting in, again, 2 columns of double chests. Because they are non-stackable, I'm giving them plenty of room. That way I can collect a lot of them. Stackable items then continue to flow down the pipeline here to where we have Impulse SV's classic sorting system circuit. Fully tileable and pretty easy to wire up. Give you a shot. Inside, 41 is the magic number, plus 4 named items that don't stack. That's a pretty simple setup. Let's see here. Let me show you how to build this in line, because you can build these in long lines. Drop down this baseline here. Then we're going to go ahead and get the second block here. Then we drop repeaters on the inside now, because you're going to bury these in blocks pretty quick. Third row of blocks at the very end. Then we do the cover block. And then we're going to get slabs and cover this here. And we wire it all up with redstone. Just like so. Cover it all. Okay. Once you've got the redstone covering it, then we start programming, so to speak, the hoppers. And by programming, you basically fill in the entities. Oh yeah, hang on. Drop that in and drop that in. Okay, and then 41 is the number you want to pay attention to. Make sure it's dropping into that. It's not. I'm an idiot. Yep, one thing I almost always forget, but it's a pretty common mistake, so I'll show you. If you see that happening, you need to remember your torches. Got to torch everything underneath there. If you ever have problems, double check to see if the torch came off. Now we drop that in, and I need to get more arrows now. Oh, brother. Oh, well. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft today. It's a late night for me right now. Please forgive me. Okay, slip on down. Kill a slime. Die, 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 my darling. Please don't demonetize me. Okay, grab everything that I threw into that. Okay. Hop back up. Where do I want to access that? Yeah, just right back here. Okay. So we do that, and then we drop the arrows back in. 41 is the number we really care about. And survey says good to go. Alright. And just to kind of see that in action, you'll see that flux back and forth. Pretty simple. Alright. Okay, next in line then. Drop the fish. Oh, cod. Sorry, I'm showing my age here. Alright, and then I like salmon, so I tend to sort that out. It's not a bad food source. I'll actually cook it and eat that stuff. And good to go. Okay. And then the last one up. I really start to need one of these, so where's my cobble? I got cobble. Come on. Oh, come on. I'll be nice to me. Fine. I'll come down to your level. Make me actually move to grab my rocks. Ridiculous. I want the force. You know, just reach my hand out and it comes to me. It's a game. Why can't I have the force? Alright, take a look here. 41. Good to go. Okay. Did some testing, spot in there we need to fix. The switches can't be here, they will lock the hoppers. So we move them to upright blocks. That way they still power the carts, but the hoppers are still running, as you can tell. And then we are seeing then that we've got that circuit going, and then I did a very simple dropper trigger to jettison the items in a water stream to bring it all the way down here. Drop a block in to make that flow all the way. Some basic ice from our ice farm going up to the water stream, and then that takes it all the way into the system. And I want to put a block there instead of just a signage. But that's getting to be the item transport system. That is pretty much your skelly to storage system. So that's knocking out pretty well right there. Now the bones you saw flowing were storage I had testing the system. Now it's time to turn it on by actually turning the lights off inside of this. Best way to do that, if you remember, I lit the center and I lit the corners. So because I know where the torches are and they're in those specific locations, what we can do is just pop up to here with a bucket of water and let water flow wash away our torches, and hope the skelly snipers don't take me out. Okay, so that's center shaft. Hop around to corner 1. Drop the water. I mean, technically you could do this wherever it was on the wall, but I think it's easiest to remember center shaft and corners. And that way you don't have to be counting squares and that sort of thing. Plus, it's a simple fact of if you're trying to light up the skelly spawner so it doesn't work, the center shaft and the corners are very easy places to put your torches so that it does light it up effectively. And I believe this is my last corner. And there we go. Okay. We should start seeing some good skelly drops here coming quick. Take a look here. And there's that beautiful XP. Yum, yum, yum. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Alright, now we need to take this up another notch. We have an AFK Skeleton Farm. If we want to really get a bang for our buck, then what we want to do is add a fish farm. Key point, make sure your hoppers tie in after that non-stackable item filter. But beyond that, you're going to be okay. Just tie into that hopper line. Then on top of the hopper, or next to it, make sure you've got a hole that goes down. And then I want to keep light levels up, and I want to block a hole a little bit. So I'm going to put glowstone right there. Music box goes right next. Note block, not music blocks. My apologies. Temporary block, there we are. Gets placed right on top of that for the sole purpose of being able to put an iron trapdoor right on top of it. Excellent. Then we get rid of the ugly block. Then we go ahead and get our water. And we enjoy Minecraft physics that when you place it on top of a block with a hole next to it, it goes straight to the hole. It doesn't flow anywhere else. Drop a fence post on top of the hopper. Then we go ahead and get ourselves a metal pressure plate. Put that on top of the fence post. That is your AFK fish farm done. Now for convenience sake, I always suggest putting a chest there. This is where you keep your fishing poles. This is also where I suggest you drop your armor and tools when you go on AFK sessions. Just in case you die, you don't want to lose everything. You know, zombie flesh is underrated. Everyone says there's no use for it. They must not have dogs. Zombie flesh is good dog food. I like to keep these guys well fed. They do me very good justice on keeping my XP and bones up. I also keep that right in the chest, right next to the dogs. Again, just so you can see it underneath, the hopper ties in after the non-stackable item filter, because we don't want to throw away the books and stuff it gives. So that's where it ties in, is afterwards. Everything from AFK fishing goes into storage. Last thing to make this a truly functional is we're going to go ahead and block upwards. Probably take the pressure plate off to do this right. And directly above the hopper and where you're fishing, you're going to make a skylight. You're going to make a hole all the way up to surface. Now I know some people like to make this just a glass tube. I like pure air because if you get rain on your water block while you're AFKing, you get an extra bonus. So what I do when I reach top is just like I did over here. I use fence, or these are walls because I like the stone look, to actually keep anyone from falling down the pit, mobs or anything. I find that's been security enough. I've never had anything else fall in if I just walled off the pit. So that's worked great, and then you get the extra bonus of actually having rainwater fall onto your water block while you're AFKing. And when you're AFKing overnight, it usually rains. There's a good amount in there. Unless you're in a desert climate where rain is not going to happen because of the climate, always keep your skylight open for rain and air. Use fences, not glass. Get every bonus you possibly can. I'm a greedy punk, I admit it. Alright, so now I just got to spin on over to the fish farm, and we take out that pillar. That's why we're using gravel. When you're pillaring up, use gravel or sand, and you'll be able to do... In fact, I love this. I'm sorry. I just really like how this works. This is always funny to me, so I got to get enjoyment out of the game too. I love that look. Oh, that's awesome. Simple pleasures. Gotta love them. Alright, clean up the mess. And then don't forget, put, where's my pressure plate? Yeah, put your plate back on. Alright, that is a fully functional AFK fish farm. And that is right next to your AFK Skeleton Farm. And this is how it all magically works together. See if I can get a better angle here. Alright. Now if you take a look at my scores, I'm not going to fish while I'm doing it because I'm not going to hit it. But you'll notice that the skellies fall, the dogs kill them, and the XP just rolls straight to me. It's a beautiful system and I love it. So let's take a look at what we've accomplished today. As our skeleton has just proved, we have a fully functional AFK Skelly Grinder right next to our AFK Fish Farm. Those two by themselves keep us supplied well with bones as well as XP, enchanted books, and arrows, which we are all collecting in a lovely sorting system. In an upcoming episode, I'll be adding in the new tree farm option. That's why I've gone ahead and built the storage for those wood supplies. Meet the pride of dogs. Everyone loves a dog, so do I. All of those supplies I feel are great, but you're squandering them if you don't go ahead and add in the benefits of adding your enchanting room. So, to give you ideas, this will be an issue all by itself, its own episode. But bows. I go ahead and do an initial sort of everything goes into one pile, and then I do go ahead and sort them out into infinity and mending. I will do a separate episode kind of showing you how to simply and easily mass produce infinity and mending bows to turn your enchanting room into an armory. It's a great option. One thing I will point out also, while I was building this, I noticed that the glass column allowed enough light that the spawn room was being affected. So I went ahead and swapped the glass out with more diorite. Again, it makes me think of bones and spawn. I like it in this case. Every block has its place. So that is what I had for center column, and I built my enchanting equipment around it. You see I have a pair of anvils, grindstone. Grindstone is a great addition and is underutilized with enchanting. If you choose to keep bad armor and bows, This is a way to strip off the XP and have another XP source out of that AFK fish farm and skelly grinder. So use a grindstone. If you're going to do that as well, you might as well have a small furnace array so you can melt down the gold and the iron armor and add to your supplies. There's lots of small things you can do to just make this the ultimate skelly farm. So keep these things in mind when you're building things. Plus, you've got fish. You've got a food source. Salmon is no joke. It's like steak of the sea. Of course, you want a actual enchantment area. I always prefer the L-shaped corner. You will want to get rid of the carpet. That does affect enchanting space. I need to swap this out for wool blocks, but I'll deal with that later. I'm waiting for it to grow. You're going to want to have some chests for storage. I really wish you could keep books in shelves, but we'll deal with that later. So this is where I keep all of the enchanted books I've gotten. I've got plenty of expanded room from there. Let's see, where am I keeping my lapis? I know it's in one of these. There we are. You'll see I've got lapis as well as some diamond and sticks to make tool. I don't wear a lot of diamond armor these days now that I have the iron farm. I wear mostly iron and just trash it when it's broken. Books, always good to have books for either more shelves or for spells you want to keep. That's the essentials. This is the kind of equipment to take your game to the next level. If this helped you out, or heck, if it just make you smile, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Again, if you want to see more of these videos, I drop them twice a week, Wednesdays and weekends. If you want to see more, Command Crew Favorites is the next playlist for you. It's what the fans like. I'm sure you'll like it too. If you've already seen all the favorites, I've got a video selected just for you. I'm Commander Tom, and I will see you next mine.